Alright, well, I thought it was about time to do a full-on shop tour at NV Woodwerks, so I'm going to take you through the shop, show you where I work, and our facilities here. So, hope you enjoy. Alright, inside the office there's the headquarters with the 2 computers. I do some of the SketchUp work and business management and whatever. Do that with those things. I do a lot of stuff at home, but I really like having 2 monitors, so I do some of it here. So then moving through, that's my dad's desk thing that's kind of messy. So when you come out of the office, kind of pan around here, I'm going to show you where you came from. So we got storage up above, but right around the corner there's his 56 Buick parts car, and we got a huge roll-up door right there. And then panning around back there in the corners is assembly room. There's my finishing booth with my workbench. You got to do a set of curls before I finish anything. Back behind all that stuff is his machine shop area. He's a machinist. And then panning around, there's his reel, or his finished car. That thing's still getting put back together. It got a new paint job and a couple things on the engine done, painted the engine. So that's the automotive area, I guess. And then back here we got, like I said, storage up above the office. Lots of junk up there. So it kind of gives you an idea. We got a 4,000 square foot shop. I should say my dad has a 4,000 square foot shop, and he lets me hang out in it. So back, we'll go over to his machining area. He's got a bunch of random tools back here. He's got a mill right there that he cuts things, metal things with. A couple punch presses. Another mill that he's trying to get set up to do a better job at milling. And this is a Powermatic drill press bank. It's on a fixed table. These drill presses are actually really cool. He gave me one and then took it back. I wasn't too happy about that, but the head moves up and down rather than the table, so they're pretty cool. And they're the quick adjust speed things. You just turn that little knob and it changes that pulley system and it gives you different speeds. So it's pretty cool. And then back here he's got a couple metal lathes that he does various tasks with, and then in here is his assembly space. And he builds watch wrenches that take the backs off of Rolex watches, anything that's waterproof basically, and he sells them to a distributor. Pretty cool. And then moving on, so we're back where we kind of started outside the office. Back in the corner there, that building is his sanding room. He kind of enclosed it. I got to turn the light on real quick. There we go. Ooh. So he does all his sanding, finish sanding kind of stuff for those watch wrenches. They're made out of aluminum. And then under that tarp is a huge surface grinder that he just bought. Got a good deal on it, I think. And then that's his old surface grinder under that. I don't know why he has tarps on all these things. Disc sander and a bandsaw. So he just does various sanding and random things. Back around the corner, there's my huge wood stash. Let me see if I can back up. Those are cedar, those tall ones. That's like pretty much like, well, that isn't the whole tree, but it was from home cut, or the guy used a milling service to cut down the cedar tree. It was like pretty much the whole thing. 15 feet long, 2 inches thick at least, maybe 2.5. And then the shorter ones on the side are all beetle kill pine, or the guy called it blue pine that I bought it from, but I got a smoking deal on it. Don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm not exactly a rustic furniture maker, but I may be one day. And then in that little room is the compressors, and we just have random storage of junk back here. I bought a scroll saw too. We haven't used it yet. Pretty cool. Anyway, that's the storage area. And coming back around, I'll do a little bit of a pan. So that's the automotive office and the machining area, and then there's that sanding room right here. And then if we keep going, ooh, I see a wood shop. This is where the magic happens. This is my part of the shop. Looking around real quick, I'll just do kind of a quick pan. Starting at the beginning, this is where I toss all my junk wood. I keep scraps, but this is more like stuff that I don't know, messed up wood. So what I do is I collect it all, and then we go camping and have firewood. Over here, this is some aspen wood. I actually picked up the logs out in Northern California, cut them on the bandsaw, and I'm waiting for them to dry so I can make a ring box out of it. I think I might have to cut it into smaller pieces to kind of accelerate that drying, but I'm pretty happy with it. It was pretty cool. So, and on top of, or those are on top of a little finishing kind of station. It's got a, what do you call it, a Lazy Susan type top, and plug this thing so you can spin that thing. Makes it really nice. It's been a real help when I'm doing stuff in the finishing booth. It just makes it easier, and then I got all my guns and stuff under there for doing my HVLP. So that works with my finishing booth. It's kind of a, we use it for a lot of different stuff though in the shop, between my dad and I. Okay, so in this corner is all the plywood and sheet goods storage. I made that rack. It's just cobbled together 2x4 and whatever. It's okay. I wanted to try and make something that would help keep the sheets as flat as possible, and I even I put on some these are screws. I got two of them, one in the bottom, one in the top, but the problem is that's fine, and the screws aren't really long enough, you can see, but the bottom one's holding this stuff in. But the problem is you really need to have it, you need to have two at each level, because the back end of this stack of sheets is not exactly, it doesn't push it all back. So anyway, someday I'll get another one. So I got an air cleaner thing there. That thing actually works pretty good. It's maybe not powerful enough for this size of a shop, but generally it clears the air pretty good. So in this little corner, I got kind of a sanding station. I got the rigid oscillating spindle sander. That thing rocks. If you can get your hands on one, if you're looking for a spindle sander and don't want to spend a lot of money, that thing's nice. It's set up for a belt right now, but I use it for both. And then I got a little belt sander here that I use for kind of quick shaping of ring boxes and different stuff. I got that Rockler dust collector thing. That thing's terrible. Don't buy that one. Not powerful enough. And then above all that stuff, I got my wood rack. I got a bunch of different woods up there, and then the miter station kind of underneath it. And moving along down the wall, got the drill press. Got a little drill press table on there. This thing's pretty beefy. If you look underneath, look at this table. It's solid cast iron, so it's not exactly practical for woodworking, but works great for machining. And then next to that, I got a clamp rack. Got all my jet clamps and then miscellaneous ones. I'm not super thrilled about being able to access that, and I need to have a little bit more, but someday I'll get around to that. And then just kind of random, I don't know, got a little desk station here that's always cluttered. Same with that. And then my toolbox, my rollaway, it's got all the kind of more general tools. Got some pegboard with random stuff, and this is just all miscellaneous tool storage back there. Below here, this is kind of where I keep all my hardware. I got screws and all that stuff. You can read the signs there. Washers and nails and bolts. And then I've kind of mounted the whatchamacallit, the pocket hole jig by Craig onto the top of this table, so whenever I need to do pocket holes, I just pull out the table. And then moving along the perimeter, this is all kind of glues and epoxies and behind these light things. It's kind of finishing stuff, paint brushes, stereo. That's just a bunch of random stuff, mostly liquids and things. And then moving along down the wall, we got, let's see if I can back up and get this whole thing. Kind of built this little table thing. It was supposed to, we were thinking about putting plumbing all the way back here, but that didn't happen. So, and then above it is some storage. So I do my pen blank casting with the acrylics. I use Alumilite mostly, and then kind of do most of that kind of work. In my sharpening I do right here, and then I got supplies for all that stuff, and mixing bowls and paper plates and all that junk. And then underneath I got like the volatile chemicals storage under there, and then just terrible storage underneath these things. I need to put some drawers in. And then you kind of move down, there's sharpening stuff in that cabinet, and then these are all my like pen blanks or pen kits and stuff for turning. I just got random supplies up there. Just will open them all up. Show you what I got. Mixing cups and goggles. This is all kind of sharpening stuff and whatever. And then in this one is all kind of turning equipment, chucks and spurs and all that kind of stuff. Then I got some pen blanks and random things that I've made in that little hole. So, and then I got a little toaster oven to dry and I don't know, do random stuff. I dry wood with it before I stabilize it. What else do I do? I bake. Well, when you're using polyester resin, that's what I bought that for, is to cure that stuff. So different stuff. It's cheap. And this is kind of the grinding and buffing station. The grinder's right next to the lathe so that I can get to it quickly. And then this is the turning area, and then right next to the lathe, I got a little toolbox that I mounted a thing that you can hold your turning tools with right next to it. Here's my Comet. Finally got a real lathe. I was using that Shopsmith for turning, which was generally not that great. But this little Comet's pretty good. I like it a lot. If I was doing bigger stuff, maybe I'd want something bigger, but so far I just pretty much do stuff that'll fit on that, so I'm happy with it. Move along, you got the toolbox here. This used to be chisel storage on the front, but we had rust issues, which kind of blew us away. Nevada's about as dry as you can get. I don't know why things were rusting. I never had a rusting problem in Vegas. But anyway, in the toolbox, I got a little tool or a saw storage on the top. The top drawer here is kind of more like marking and measuring type stuff. There's some storage in the back there. I got a little Ryoba saw and a draw knife and my brace, drill brace. And those are flush trim saws back there. It's kind of hard to see, sorry. I got my spoke shaves, I guess, up here too. Spoke shaves and my scraper. Second drawer is mostly like drilling stuff. I had to kind of hide my Lee Nielsen tenon saw because it was starting to get rusty. And then my fret saw. It's a new concept, so I like that a lot. Some rasps and rifflers, and then some carving gouges. And then in the bottom shelf is kind of like miscellaneous planes, random planes. You got the router planes, the shoulder planes, block planes, and then over here is a scrub plane and all that kind of good stuff. And then in the bottom I got my bench planes and my chisel roll. So I got pretty good detail of hand tools. I like using them here and there. I don't think I'd ever be a galoot completely, but they do work good when you're trying to finesse things. My only problem is I usually, like with hand planes, I usually do not use them for finishing. I'd rather pull out a scraper or sandpaper because I end up tearing out grains. So that ruins the project real quick. So over here we got the Shopsmith still set up. This was my dad's. That's why I didn't mind using it. It was free at first when I started turning, so not too bad. It works pretty good as a disc sander though. Not so great as a lathe. Generally it was pretty good because you got quick change speeds and all that stuff. There's no belt changing and all that junk. So generally the headstock side, that was pretty good. And I think it actually turned bowls pretty reasonably. But when you move down here to the tailstock, that thing's junk. You can't, there's no way to get that thing lined up with your if you're turning spindles. It's almost well, I never actually got it lined up with the drive spur. I could never get the two things, you know, lined up properly, so I wouldn't recommend that. And the tool rest was kind of a piece of junk too, but that wasn't so bad. Alright, so and moving down the line, we're getting back into like machine shop area where the big machines are, so let me scoot back. I got an 18-inch Steel City bandsaw. Not exactly that impressed with it, but it does its job. I've set it up now for just doing rip cuts, straight stuff, and resawing. So, because it's kind of heavy duty, back in the corner there's a 14-inch Delta that I just refurbished. That I'm going to be using for circle or round, you know, cutting curves basically. And then I got a little rigid lunchbox planer. Man, I'll tell you what, for the money, these little, you know, whatever. I don't think it matters which one you get. They're all kind of the same. But man, for like, I think it was $350. That thing's been going strong for like 8 to 10 years now. So tears out figured wood like no other, but you know. And then I built this is part of my dust collection system. I built a separator bin, and then I got this Steel City 600 CFM kind of piece of junk, but I mean it works fine, but it's not powerful enough to really do very good dust collection. And then I got my 8-inch helical head Powermatic joiner. I love this thing, man. Compared to the planer, a helical head joiner, this thing, I could run tiger maple backwards and upside down and it would just spit out smooth wood. So if I ever do get a bigger planer, it's hard to justify the cost because you know, that thing planes wood just fine. But if I do end up getting a bigger one, I'll probably get a Powermatic with a helical head. And then in the middle of the room, we got the table saw. I got a saw stop because, frankly, it's a good saw, and if I happen to mess up one time, it ain't going to cut my hand off. So I like it. It's a really good saw. The debate on the saw stop thing, I'm not going to get into it too much, but I'll tell you what, if the saw stop was a crappy saw, but it didn't cut your hand off, there's no way I'd have one. I'm not going to give up quality for safety, but this is a high quality saw and it's safe, so it's kind of a no-brainer for me. Oh, in the middle here I got my Festool workstation with my extractor. I got my homemade boom arm because there's no way I'm going to pay Festool $300 for a piece of pipe. Works pretty good. And then I got all my Festool tools here. One day I want to get a domino. I think that'll help for making quicker joinery. But I'm pretty happy. I got a TS75 track saw. That thing rocks. I got the random orbit sander. I got the 1400, the middle of the road router. Got the jigsaw, and I got the RO90 sander. That thing's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm really happy. Festool rocks. And then over at the end of the shop here, back to kind of where we started, but here's my router table. I love that thing. I got a Jessam, you know, like the full package. I got the lift, table, fence, and then underneath I got the 3.5 horsepower Porter cable, the big one. That thing, man, that thing will seriously cut some wood. And then I got a dust bucket from Rockler. That's a pretty good, easy to set up, and it works really well for dust collection underneath the table. And it's on a shop made. This is one of my first, way back in the day, first projects. It's kind of sad, but it's sturdy. Just doesn't look very good. And then here's the, this is my grandpa's 14-inch bandsaw that I refurbished. I had been looking for a 14-inch used bandsaw that I was going to try and, you know, just set up strictly for curve cutting. And my uncle called and said, hey, I got my, you know, your grandpa's bandsaw that if you want it, come get it. So I did, and we refurbished it. It's set up pretty nicely. Now, the only thing about this one that I need to kind of fix is everything's open on the bottom, so the dust just goes everywhere. But I'm going to enclose that belt. I don't like that belt hanging out there anyway, but I'm going to enclose I don't know how exactly, probably out of wood or something, but put something underneath and maybe try and hook up some kind of dust collection into there. I made this a while ago. It's made out of Douglas fir. It's pretty sad, but it holds work. The only problem is it's really shaky. So I might try and stiffen that up, but what I really want to do is make a real bench one day that is a little bit heavier. And in the middle of the room, I got this Wood Whisperer special assembly table that I use for all kinds of stuff. I do a lot of finishing on there, some assembly, and it's got good storage underneath, good drawers on both sides. Nice, flat, big surface, so I do lots of stuff with it. I really like that. So anyway, that's probably about it. I don't think there's a whole lot else that I missed. I'll give one more little pan. All right, well, that was the shop tour. If you have any questions about anything you saw in the shop or any of the tools, definitely leave me a comment or email me at zac@nvwoodwerks.com. I'd be happy to answer any questions or try and help out with anything with your own shop. Coming soon, actually, I'm going to be getting a new tool, a drum sander from Supermax, so I'll probably do a little bit of a walkthrough on that. And hopefully soon, I'm going to be getting set up with kind of a blacksmithing area, set up a forge. I need to get an anvil of some sort. So be looking for that. I'll probably be banging the hammer out front because we can't really run a coal forge inside. So anyway, thanks for watching. And like I said, leave comments or questions below or email me.